Good morning, and welcome to Chapel Chat. I'm Pastor Kevin Little, and this is the sanctuary at Fisher United Methodist Church. Now, I don't know about you guys, but it's been a crazy week. You know what? It's actually been a crazy couple of weeks. It's actually been a crazy couple of years, hasn't it? And I don't know who needs to hear it, but you're doing okay. It might not feel like it, and it might not seem like it, but you're doing your best, and that's okay. Some days will be harder than others. Some days will be easier. Some days you'll want to just curl up in bed and not leave it all day. And that's okay. I've had a rough week. Trying to balance everything that we're doing in the churches is a lot, but we've been managing. But that means that I don't always feel like I've got any extra bandwidth for anything new. And guess what? There's always something new. Once I settle into a rhythm of juggling all of the balls that I can handle, someone tosses in a plate, or sometimes a chainsaw. And try as I might, I'll drop a ball. And I'm working to allow myself to understand that it's okay to drop that ball, or to just let the chainsaw fly by and not catch it. In Exodus 18, verses 13 through 26, Moses is overworked trying to take care of the Israelites after they escaped Egypt. He was the leader, and he was taking all of the responsibility for taking care of the people onto his shoulders. His father-in-law, Jethro, points out that this was silly and that he needed to delegate. Moses couldn't do it all by himself. It also didn't help that the Israelites were amazingly needy. Now, this is a lesson that I've had to learn over the years, because there's a lot of pressure on pastors to do all of the things in the church. When the office hours shrink, pastors do more to keep up with things like the bulletin and all of the office duties. When new ministries start, which is awesome, pastors are often leading the way. Luckily for me, I have a fantastic team of pastors working by my side to help with the juggling. And beyond that, we've got great people in the churches that are ready and willing to step up to help with it all. But that doesn't mean that we don't occasionally forget to toss a ball to someone else as we are doing the mental gymnastics to figure out how to catch that ball and get it into our juggling rotation. Or eyeing that chainsaw as it flies at our heads and timing it so that we can grab the handle and not the spinning chain. Now, I'm better at passing things around than I've ever been before in my life, but I've always acknowledged that I did not learn to share properly, and so that might not really be saying all that much. As pastors, we are looked to as shepherds of the congregational flock and expected to protect and care for that flock. Except we aren't shepherds. It's easy for us to forget, but we're sheep too. Congregations forget that we're sheep, and we ourselves forget that we're sheep. And that made me think of the book of John, chapter 21, verses 15 through 19. In this pericope, which is a fancy Scrabble word for scene, Jesus speaks to Peter and asks Peter if he loves him over and over. And each time Peter replies, Jesus tells Peter to feed or take care of his sheep. Now, some translations say shepherd my sheep, but most he don't. He doesn't really tell Peter to become a shepherd. He tells him to feed the sheep and take care of the sheep to the best of his own sheepy ability. And Peter is the ultimate example of the struggles of humans trying to follow Jesus. He almost never gets it right the first time, and quite often fails the second time again. But Peter juggled as well as he could, and the Lord was either confident that it was enough or willing to use the tool that he had at hand. But either way, Peter and the disciples were the ones chosen in spite of all their flaws. Now, I'm seeing a lot of other pastors struggling to keep up right now. And like I said, I'm having my own issues at times. With all of that in mind, I wanted to offer this to anyone who needs it, but especially to my colleagues. You're doing your best. We're all sheep doing the best that we can to keep things moving as well as we can. Some days will be better than others. Some days will be awful. It's okay. Just keep doing your best, even if your best that day is getting out of bed and moving to the couch to watch Star Wars. Thanks again for joining me for another Chapel Chat. I'll see you again next time. Have a great week.